One of the things that happened to me after I left religion is I faced a rude awakening, a harsh reality. When I was deep in religion, I was a pastor, I was youth coordinator, I was even fellowship coordinator. I thought I was special. I got things easier than other guys would get it. In fact, I got a lot of attention. I remember then in church, in my local church, I was an associate pastor. Girls for free would just be looking and giving me a lot of attention. I didn't do anything with any of my church sisters. So I'm not saying I was perfect or that I was a saint, but somehow I didn't do anything with any of them. Why? Because of my own personal conviction. You need to understand when I was deep in religion, my motivation was not primarily because of what pastors told me to do or what my parents would tell me to do as pastor. I was a pastor's kid as well. My motivation while I was in religion was primarily personal conviction. So things that I would do were because I had found in the Bible that that is what it told us to do. Even if I was the only person doing it, I remember then at some point I would go for evangelism. And I was the only person in my church going at that time, formally, that I knew of. In fact, there was this time I confronted or approached some of the church leader at the time. I asked him, "Sir, the Bible says we are supposed to," then I hadn't become a pastor. The Bible said we are supposed to preach and heal the sick. Why are we not going out to go and heal the sick? That was the kind of Christian I was. So, and of course, they gave me an answer that I wasn't satisfied about. They said, well, it's not all healing that are physical. Who told you that some of the people here don't get emotional healing? I said, sir, we saw the kind of miracles Jesus did in the Bible. If he says we are supposed to do it, why are we not doing it? So that was the kind of Christian I was. And I took it upon myself. I started going around, I started preaching to people, and I started what? Trying to heal them. And I would pray for them, put my hand on their body, and command them to be healed. Did they get healed? That's story for another day. But some did get healed, as much as I know. Some others did not get healed. But that was because I saw in the Bible that it said that we are supposed to go and heal the sick. So that's the kind of Christian I'd always been, right? Conviction based, conviction led. If I believed this thing was what the Bible said, then why are we not doing it? I'll take it upon myself and do it. So that is the same mentality I had when with regards to the girls in our church. I always saw myself that I'm their leader. And I didn't want to be that kind of leader that will be, you know, I saw that they were vulnerable, essentially. So I made a habit. I told myself that, look, I'm going to see these people, these women, as my sisters consciously. I practiced it. I told myself, okay, Williams, they are your sister. They are your sister. I told myself that multiple times, practiced it, and it started working. Subconsciously, I would think of them as my sisters. And so I never really did try to knock any of those young girls or anything like that, right? So that was my experience growing up. And so, what was the story what was I talking about before this story? I forgot to do it. Hey, voila. Anyway, but in case you had this kind of experience as a preacher's kid, and then you decided to rebel against it. Oh, one of these days I'll tell the stories about why I rebelled against the whole religious thing. In case you had this kind of experience, just know that the world out there is harsh, and by the time you leave, you'll be thinking you are special. Good, I remember now. You'll be thinking you are special until you go out there in the real world. I mean, real world. I mean, by real world, I mean that world where you are not seen as a pastor, where people don't see you or know you as a pastor or anything. It's very harsh. And but you will see yourself for what you are. I was very self-centered. I was very selfish. I got things on a platter. I'm telling you, there was a tendency for me to use people, because people are loyal, blindly loyal. If I was that kind of person that would want to have sexual relations with my members, with the youths under my leadership, and then God now made me not to be looking to be bad looking. No, God now made me to be good looking. You know what I mean? So exactly. So, but coming out there in the real world and then seeing, I saw how humble I had to be. I had a lot of learning to do. I had my friends. Tell them, guy, I need you to put me through on this. Who put me through on this? One of my classmates then in school. We are still together. We are still friends now. I need you to put me through on this. So am I missing it here? Am I missing it? I'm telling you, a lot of social cues that I don't know. because it wasn't a reality being a pastor. People, we need to stop worshiping our Nigerian pastors. I'm telling you, we need to start seeing them as human beings. You are not helping them by worshiping them. This video has gotten too long. Go, I beg.